Hey there, Dr. K. Hey, class. Let's get talking about constructivism, online learning, and curriculum design. So, constructivism is a learning theory that's based on the premise that individuals learn through their interactions with the environment. When designing course content, whether it's online, whether in person, there are four factors that must absolutely be kept in mind to ensure that you're adhering to that constructivist format. And they include one, eliciting prior knowledge, two, creating cognitive dissonance, three, providing opportunities for application of knowledge with specific feedback, four, providing the chance for students to reflect on that learning. So, although the application of the constructivist theory might look a little different in the online environment versus in person learning, this theory can still have a significant influence on the learning. I think about what we're doing here at AIU. The various activities, be it a discussion board activity, an individual project, they force me to draw upon my knowledge, adding that newly learned information to the current knowledge and then filtering through it to appropriately apply it to the different activities that we need to complete every week. Anxiously awaiting and honestly sometimes nervously awaiting feedback. Once the feedback is received, I then have to reflect on it and then use that feedback accordingly. When we talk about curriculum design, the general purpose for any learning program and the goals one is looking to achieve should align with the knowledge, the skills, and the attitudes that will be gained through the coursework. So, with that understanding in mind, the purpose of a training program would not necessarily be impacted by a transition from in person to online learning. However, how the outcomes are achieved, how those goals are going to be reached, will be impacted, no doubt. But the overall purpose of the program will not. The purpose will remain the same. Again, the question becomes when we're making that transition, how are we going to achieve the goals aligned with the purpose? Similar to the purpose of the training program, the content of the learning program will more than likely remain quite similar in this transition. However, what will be impacted in this change is how the content will be implemented. So, for example, at FedEx, when the instructional world, as the facilitators knew it, quickly transitioned from in person to online, although the content stayed the same, the facilitators needed to really adapt to that new implementation process, the modes of online teaching, with very, very little time to learn and adjust to that transition. One group that is greatly impacted by a transition from in person to online is the learner. Although there may be some cost savings and time savings as it pertains to maybe a commute or the flexibility to that learning content, the access to it, the inability to socialize with classmates, to physically interact with one another, has a definite impact on the learner. We've been in the virtual learning environment for over 3 years now at FedEx, and at the end of every class, there's an anonymous survey, and there's always at least one comment on every survey asking for the class to be facilitated in person because they miss that in person interaction. Speaking about learners and the impact of online learning, let's briefly discuss two very important delivery modes: synchronous and asynchronous learning. A virtual synchronous learning environment is one in which the instructors and the learners are meeting at the same time, interacting simultaneously, participating in breakout rooms, polls, live instruction, live being the key word. Asynchronous learning is the type of learning which does not require live interaction with an instructor. Again, pretty much what we do here, what we see here at AIU. Asynchronous learning could include pre-recorded lectures, discussion board activities, independent research, and writing assignments. Instructional resources are another aspect of curriculum that will be impacted by a transition from in-person to online learning. Valdez and Reed mentioned the need for budgetary support and personnel resources supporting the design and development of the course. Another consideration as it pertains to the instructional resources when making a transition is the media platform that will be used for the learning. The materials that will be presented or shared with class participants might also look a little different. So, again, although the content with the learning will be similar, the design, the structure of the content will look different, as will the guides that we hand out, the learning materials and resources. The processes around the instruction, how the content is facilitated, can and will be impacted by a transition from in person to online. As mentioned in our article by Valdez and Reed, some students rely on experiential learning activities, hands on learning, or learning by doing. It's part of many learning programs that we see today. In an online virtual setting, that experiential learning will look different. Maybe there are simulation events that will take place instead. Maybe there will be Zoom meetings to help and assist with that experiential learning, but it will look different. Assessments and evaluations will also be impacted by a shift from in-person to online learning. However, they can still be utilized in the same way. They'll still be completed. It's just the formatting and the process that might look a little different. I think about a capstone event. Capstone events, I've seen them used in both an in-person setting and a virtual setting. At FedEx, we have a capstone event that's held at the corporate office, culminating a 14-week self-paced asynchronous learning event. And then we have our capstone in person, members from all over the Northeast getting together and putting together all the work that they've done over the 14 weeks in person. Here at AIU, in just a few terms, we ourselves are going to have a capstone event, but it will be done online. It'll be done asynchronously, where we're bringing together all of our work, applying it in a way that still a little bit of a mystery to me, but it will be an online capstone event nonetheless. So just some differences with the transition from in-person to online. A little bit about the constructivist theory in there. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching and have a great day.